it was me or him. He was gonna kill me. What were you supposed to do? You had to defend yourself. What else were you gonna do? It's gonna be all right. It might not be all right. I mean, I don't think that cop is gonna stop until she locks me up.
Stop it.
Chloe.
That is not happening.
You don't know that.
I won't let it happen. Do you hear me? I'm not gonna let it happen.
What about Ethan?
You're here with him. You're gonna be here with him. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Tomorrow, you and Ethan just go somewhere, go on a hike. Just spend time with him. 'Cause I could really use some time to think about what the fuck we're gonna do.
I get it.
Okay. Do you still have the knife?
Yeah.
All right, let me hold on to that. And I want the gun too. I know you have it.
It's in the car.
What the fuck were you gonna do with that?
I wasn't gonna let Ethan go to jail for something I did. Jesus, Nikki.
You guys okay in there?
Yeah.
Hello, all. Welcome back to What's On Tonight, a podcast with elaborate, quirky, and unpredictable conversations about TV, movies, and more. I'm Becky.
And I'm still Mandy.
Today, we are covering Prime Video's show The Better Sister, Season 1, Episode 8, titled They're in Their World Now. Please note this is a spoiler-filled podcast, so if you haven't watched the episodes yet and don't want to be spoiled, just come back and check us out once you finish watching. And I'm so excited to say we finally made it to the end. We know everything that happened, and one of us is really excited about that, and the other one not so much. So let's start our way into the episode. So first, episode 8 was written by Olivia Milch and directed by Stephanie Lang.
And before we get into the amazing finale, we've got some feedback on episode 7 from our boy Steve. Hey, Steve, let's hear his thoughts.
All right. Hey, Becky and Mandy, this is Steve, and this is going to be for The Better Sister, episode 7. Okay, so
I always love
now
hearing
they're
his
just
voice.
have this
It's
domestic
amazing.
bliss going with Ethan and Nikki and Chloe all living together. What? And of course, the cops are getting the riot act read to them because they had no clue that Jake was even a suspect. And now Michelle, the defense attorney, is meeting with Jake. Yeah, they had some sort of prior relationship, didn't they? I don't think apologies
Andy
are
was
enough,
right.
Chloe. You put the man on. You all but framed him for murder in this case, in this conversation she's having with Jake. Okay, so he just said it was the FBI that she was meeting with. Oh, so the doorman was at the bar by the beach house after dropping off Ethan. And of course, he saw Adam at the bar. And now the police are onto the doorman. Yeah, I mean, he might be a red herring also, but I'm still on the doorman tip. Hey, that came out wrong. I think the doorman did it. Okay, so we a little bit about Nan's character in that meeting with the therapist, and now Ethan has his dad's ashes. And what was in the bag? Oh, his chainmail armor. Wasn't that when he was a little kid, or did they buy him a new one every time he got bigger?
Thank you.
Oh, that was a powerful scene of Ethan talking to his dad's ashes and scattering a handful of them to the wind. And
Still stay, should
wearing
throw
his
them all.
armor. Oh. Nan does know the rules about AA, though. That's good. And now the police know Mr. Winnick's name, and she's going to have his DNA. Okay, I backed it up. No, that's Nikki's cigarette. Don't they already have Nikki's DNA? Oh, and now her Nikki and Ken are going to follow Nan. Catherine's sober. Didn't we see her drink at the party, and now she's taking mushrooms? Now, what's Catherine talking about writing a book? Chloe and Nikki writing a book together? What, about their experience? Oh, and now Nan is meeting with the guy that she assaulted. The guy that she had thought was a pedophile but wasn't, right? So Ken and Nikki just found out about Nan's secret. Ethan throwing out his chainmail and finding out that the doorman sells the things that people throw away. Really like showing Jake with his shirt off. Now he's meeting with the FBI. So it's Adam's mother that she was living with and taking care of. This FBI agent is just meeting with everybody. So Adam lied about what happened
Thank you.
at the pool that day when Nikki was drunk and Ethan almost drowned. No water in the child's lungs means what? Adam tried to choke him and then make it look like, oh, and now they're going to show us in the flashback. Whoa, Nikki already knew that he lied about that incident with the pool? Oh, is Nikki going to admit to murdering Adam? No, it's too early for that. Of course, that's the end. All right, I'm going to send it off to you next week, the season finale. Yes, I stopped it. I'm not going to watch until later.
Oh, I love you, Steve. You're so amazing.
I look forward to hearing him every week. Steve, if you ever come to Nashville, we gotta take you out to dinner, buddy.
Oh, that would be awesome. Yeah, Steve.
And Linda,
Come
when we get to
visit.
Chicago, we're hitting you up.
Oh my gosh, we could go out with Linda, and
Isn't that where Linda's from?
I think so.
I feel like we've talked about that before. We could see Linda and we could see
Yeah, that's
Crystal.
what I was saying. Crystal, we could all have like a group date.
Yeah, that would be fun.
It'd be my +1.
For sure.
I love you.
Oh, you complete me.
You complete me. All right. Well, thank you, Steve, for that always delightful voicemail. And we do have more from Steve coming up on the finale, and I have not listened, so I'm super excited to hear what he has to say. So to kick us off for episode 8, Mandy, would you please share the synopsis?
I sure will. Episode 8, Chloe enacts a plan and Guidry takes a trip. Nikki explains a few key details.
A few, yeah.
She was doing a lot of heavy lifting in this episode.
All right. Well, that brings us to yay or nay. I am a big fat yay on this episode. I loved it. I was on the edge of my seat from start to finish. The twists, the turns, the setup, all of it. I was super excited, except for that final shot, which we'll get to. I was a little disappointed. But yeah, overall, I loved it. Mandy, not so much.
Yeah, before we got started, I told Becky that my husband was very concerned that our friendship might not survive this because he's kidding. But this is the he doesn't know nothing. He doesn't know about our love. He wishes.
Doesn't. Nobody understands.
This is the first time I did tell Becky I was a little concerned about this because it's the first time in the golly, how many podcasts have we done together now? Probably
this is our third show.
Probably 4. Is 40 too many, do you think? We did 10 with what we do in the shadows, right? Or was it 12?
I think it was 12.
And then we did 15 in the
15.
pit. Oh man, that's 27. And this is 8. So yeah, 35 plus the ones we've done for Poker Face. So yeah, we've done almost 40 podcasts together, Becky.
Aww.
Well, and this is the first one we've ever done that I did not like the episode. Overall, if this was just a episode leading up to the end, I would have still enjoyed it. I'm very upset that this was the ending that we got. I do not feel like they stuck the landing at all.
Okay. Well, I felt like it was an 8.5. So I'm very curious to hear where they lost you.
I got notes.
No. I got 4 pages, but fortunately for y'all, they're mostly just quick sentences. So we start off the show with Nikki's flashback where my first note here is Mandy was not right for one thing. And that is that she was not previously in contact with Adam.
Yes, she was not. I will go ahead and insert probably not for the last time that I feel like if they'd let me write my version of that plot line, it would have been better. Because part of my issue is that I feel like there was so much that was rushed at the end for a show that moved very slowly. I actually read some of the reviews today just because I've been avoiding them. Yeah, because I've been avoiding them, but I wanted to see what other people said, and it was generally not favorably reviewed.
Aww.
And one of the things that everybody kept saying is that they thought that the plot was too glacial. I want to go on record to say that I did not think that until we got to this ending. I feel like if we'd had a couple more episodes in the season, they would have done more justice to fleshing out some of these characters and plot lines.
That's fair. I can definitely see where people would feel like it was rushed. And I think the reason that it didn't bother me how much they crammed into this episode is because you and I did not binge it. We watched it week to week to week. Well, 2 episodes at a time, but we stretched it out. So all I wanted was to get to this ending and to see everything play out. So I felt it was very rewarding, but I can definitely see where other people, and you included, might feel like they shoved all of this into one episode.
I mean, like, again, I was not shocked because I've said since, I want to say, like, the first episode that I was pretty sure it was Nikki that did it. So I wasn't really shocked at how it played out. But yeah, I was wrong about they were not having an affair or anything like that, which makes her sniffing his outfits even creepier, honestly.
When we get to Chloe grabbing his DNA, that went so far over my head, which it shouldn't have. But because these people have been so weird,
that was a nice surprise, honestly.
That was my favorite part. That
I didn't see that coming.
From the moment the plan unfolds as Bill is getting arrested to the flashback of how she did it, and then the look on Nikki's face right after she says, I need to know where your loyalties lie. I don't believe that,
yes,
we are a priority. And then that happened. And the look on Elizabeth Banks' face, please give this woman an Emmy.
That was one of my favorite parts about this. I'm going to tell you, we get through the notes.
Let's just talk about, we don't have to
go in order.
Let's make sure we hit our talking points, but no, we don't have to stick to the traditional format. Let's just talk about it.
Well, so I think that one of the things throughout this season kept talking about with my frustration with the character of Chloe was that every time that it would show her loyalty being tested towards Nikki, like it was very complex. Like I know a lot of the moments, like for instance, when she was cooking in that last episode and we were talking about our difference of opinion about that scene of when Chloe saw Nikki and Ethan cooking together, and what you saw was this really sweet bonding moment between all of them. But I felt like if you really looked at Chloe's face, you could see that she's still a little jealous in that moment. And then when you see back and forth that they had over Ethan a couple of times throughout the season, where you could tell that there was still some simmering jealousy and resentment between the two of them. And like when she took Ethan out, things like that. I could see, and then, talking about the bestseller that Catherine was trying to push her to writing together. In that one scene, I really felt like you could see that she was tempted to go the exploitative route and just take over and run that without really consulting Nikki. But what I liked about this episode is, in that scene where she's saying, you didn't tell me about this book, what's going on? I'm going to go back if you can't really fully commit to me and Ethan. For me, that was the payoff. That's what I needed to see from Chloe to believe that she truly loved and had learned her lesson and was putting her sister first and truly was showing she had changed in the way that she always treated Nikki.
Yeah, I watched the episode through, and then when we got closer to recording, I went back and, like we usually do, rewatch and then take my notes. Mm-hmm. And knowing the ending, I started watching throughout the episode to see if I could see that moment where I could tell that Chloe, what direction her mind was headed. Because when the episode opens and we get through Nikki's flashback, go through the 12 hours earlier, and then they're back to having their conversation, when Nikki tells her, I would not let anything happen to you. I was protecting you. That's why she came to see Adam, because Ethan had told her that Adam was abusing her. And that was like a light bulb went off in Chloe's head, that she really finally, I think, saw past Nikki's addiction, past the bullshit that Adam filled her head with for all those years, that she allowed to cloud her judgment. And then
her own embarrassment at her sister, because they're two very different people.
Yeah, very.
That's part of it too, is that she's just naturally, because she is such a reserved, controlled person. I think part of her just never knew what to do with Nikki in adulthood.
And dealing with siblings with addictions, I think that might be why I was probably more empathetic to Chloe
Yeah.
in this. We've talked about it, but
Yeah.
I think that might be why I did not come down on hard as her. As she probably deserved me to, but anyway.
Yeah, I get it. I bring my own bias into this a lot at all of our shows that we watch. Any of the, like with the pit, any of our heavy conversations there, you know how we always are pretty open about thinking, I probably sympathize more with this character for that reason or what have you. But I wanted to like Chloe, just to be clear. Like, I wanted to like her. I just think that what they got right, honestly, with this show is that they did keep her pretty morally ambiguous up until the very end. Because even in that beginning, when Nikki finally confessed that did it and this is how it happened, I still wasn't 100% sure whether Nikki. Actually thought it was a little weird that she didn't call her out on, like, hey, were you just going to let Ethan go to prison for all of this? But she did the right thing. She was there for her sister. But I was not convinced that she truly had her sister's best interest at heart until that end scene. And I do think that was one of the things that they really did well, was keeping you on your toes about Chloe's character until the very end.
Well, when Nikki starts freaking out about going to jail and Chloe is firm on, I will not let anything happen to you, that she will make sure they all stay together. That's when I was like, okay, Chloe's going to do something. I did not know it was going to be that.
Yeah.
But I knew she was going to do something because it's like she became the big sister in that moment. I know Nikki's the big sister, but it was almost like Chloe became the big sister right then. She's like, I know you have the gun. Give it to me. I need the knife.
I think she kind of wised up. She remembered that she was the girl at the beginning. I think there was a parallel there to how she was the one that finished off that, what was it, a rabbit?
Yeah.
Did you notice she was cooking rabbit too?
I did not, for dinner. They're special. I did not even realize that.
Yeah, we really should have played that up.
Oh, of all the things I noticed in this show, I missed what she was cooking.
Yeah, we really know what she's going through, but I think she probably enjoyed cooking rabbit more than we did.
Yeah, that was not what I would call a
sobbing and eating all of it that we could get in our mouths because it was delicious.
God, it was so good. And every time I see a rabbit now, which they are aplenty in our yard, and they spot me, they give me a look. It's like they know.
It's like they can smell it on your breath.
Yeah. It's like, we know what you did last summer.
Well,
rabbit style. Anyway, back to the show. So, yeah, she formulates the plan, and then she sends Nikki and Ethan out on that outing.
Which is like she grew up. It was like all the times throughout this that we've been like, Nikki, or Chloe, why are you being so stupid? Why are you being so naive? Why are you trusting the cops? Why are it was like she finally wised up in that moment and remembered she was the little badass that killed the rabbit when it needed to be done.
Yes, very well said. And then when she's talking to Catherine about the book and about Bill, she's like, I ain't got time for this shit, Catherine.
Yes. Found that much more believable. Yes. I liked that scene much better because that's the thing. What I was trying to get at all those times we would talk about it throughout this series is that I always thought that if it was going to have any kind of emotional impact, would have to show Chloe eventually being there for her sister. But every episode where it showed like a moment where she needed to give Nikki the benefit of the doubt or that whatever, it was a slow progression. Like you could see that she still had this self-preserving instinct to just run roughshod, and because she does like the limelight, she does like being in high-powered situations, she likes all of that stuff, and Nikki is completely the opposite. So I think that in the past, Chloe has really fooled herself about what her own motivations, because she wanted to be I think deep down she's a good person, and I think she wanted to do the right thing, but I also think she had a lot of vanity and a lot of pride, and a lot of times she would convince herself that she was doing things for the greater good, but deep down she was a little bit selfish. And so what I found really emotionally satisfying about that ending is it's like I think Chloe finally conquered that part of herself. I think she finally in her own mind looked back and saw where she had fucked up, kind of like the way that Nikki had to do in order to get through therapy, in order to get through recovery. You know, you have to really own up to your mistakes and learn who you are as a flawed human being. And I think that's what Chloe finally did in that last episode, was that she recognized that, yeah, the money, the fame, all of that is great. But what's really important to her is her relationship with her sister and her son.
Yeah. Well, if it's all right, I want to talk a little bit about what she did. What she was going to do started to kind of come together when Jake comes in and is freaking out about the FBI group. And we finally learn that the Gentry group is breaking laws by human trafficking, which is lovely, assholes, and that Bill is in on it and helping him get it done. And that is what Adam had on both Gentry and Bill. So she's like, oh, okay, there's still evidence. She realizes Adam was too meticulous and smart to just leave all of that on a computer. So she goes home and starts looking. But on the way, she makes that call about Olivero that he was sexually and physically aggressive, which didn't really pay off in the end. There's a couple of things that I have that notes that I have that did not pay off.
Just big holes in the plot. Yeah, that's one of them.
Jake mentioning that he put cameras up at his house and he ends up dead. And if we get a season 2, that would all make sense.
Yeah.
This Olivero thing would make sense, but
maybe.
But I'm not sure if we're getting a season 2. So some of that they didn't wrap up as neatly as I wanted them to.
That's part of my overall problem with this episode, is that there are several plot holes that I was willing to give them the benefit of the doubt on that we just never saw resolution on. And I thought it was crazy, honestly, in that scene that they wait until 30 minutes into the last episode to bring up human trafficking.
See, that didn't bother me.
Yeah. There were so many plots going on that was just like, if they knew for sure, like for instance, if this was a Law and Order franchise and it's 30 minutes before the end of the season finale, but you know there's going to be a season 2, then that's an intriguing lead-in to the next season. But there's just genuinely no real reason to think that this is going to get renewed for a season 2. So it just felt like a big plot hole.
Yeah, I hear you. When I was watching it with anticipation that we would get another season. And I was like, okay, well, we'll learn more about that later. So but the Gentry reveal didn't bother me. I liked it because it sent Chloe to Adam's office and she's looking for the files and she ends up finding them. And then next thing we know, she's at Bill's house, which pissed me off that she was at Bill's house kissing Bill's ass and he's being...
Oh, I knew something was up.
Even Chuck, she was like, this is my mea culpa. And she's like, just be, or whatever, basically saying, just be nice to him and he'll be nice to you.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck you, Chuck, and fuck you, Bill.
Chuck is a kept man.
Yeah, I guess. But
he's just there to look pretty and wear uncomfortably tight pants and make mimosas and whatever. It was refreshing to see the pig boss be a gay man for once. Is that progress?
It depends on who you ask. I think anytime representation is in an episode or in a TV show, that it's a good thing.
I agree. I feel like most of the gay men I know would be like, yeah, we can be real dicks.
Probably. I don't know. We need a poll.
If gay listeners, if you're out there, do you enjoy the fact that they made the heavy in this show? What is that? I guess it can't be sexist. What is it? A sexually abusive. There you go. Sexually abusive boss, or is it insulting that they made the gay man the sexually abusive boss?
Let us know in a poll that I will absolutely forget to post. So, I'm sorry, y'all.
I actually liked that character, Bill's husband. I actually I don't know why. It just cracked me up that he had a house husband.
It is funny. Every time Bill opened his mouth, be it talking
Right, I
to
hated him.
Borat, and I'm sorry to this beautiful, amazing actor who I can't stop calling Borat. You know, he's talking to Borat in his office, at his work office, and he's just, every time he opened his mouth, it was just
He's awful.
entitled, elitist
Yeah.
BS. And so, even though he didn't do it, I was so grateful to see
Oh,
him
yeah.
take the fall.
He needed to go.
And we figure out during her visit that, and that hair that she took off of Adam's coat, which seemed like a lot of hair for a bald guy. So I feel like that was
Right.
pube hair.
Pube hair? Why was it just casually in his sleeve? Was it chest hair? It was chest
Oh, it
hair.
could have been chest hair.
Was he just like, like, how did, maybe, no, that wasn't the outfit he was in when he died. I was gonna say maybe it got pulled out in the struggle with Nikki, but
Well, they have tussled before, so maybe she pulled some out while they were fighting.
sure,
I'm
let's go
just
with
going
that.
with pubes, and I don't care how they got there.
That'll
But it was
explain why
pubes
there was
that
a
took Bill
giant ball
down.
of pubes in his sleeves. I'm just glad nobody sniffed his clothes again.
Or the pubes.
That would have been a great scene. That's
I'm
funny.
sorry, y'all.
One of the things before we move past, I want to know one of the major plot holes that has really pissed me off. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somebody, you or somebody out there, can explain to me what the fuck was the relationship between Catherine and Bill? Why was Catherine having the memorial for her husband? Why at the end was she telling Chloe, you have to make nice with Bill? Bill is her protege's dead husband's boss. Like, they may know each other from around, but they're in two different fields. Why is she advocating for Chloe to schmooze with Bill? I don't understand that at all. That was never clarified.
You know, the only answer I could give you that as to why is having watched a lot of Real Housewives of New York. These people, these elite New York people, run in the same circles, and they develop these, I hate to call them friendships because they're very conditional or whatever, but I think Catherine recognized a long time ago that Bill has power and influence, and she needed that probably to help build her business, especially given her addictions and obvious problems that it's caused in her past. And I think Bill being a law firm probably helped her out.
That makes sense. I wish they had included that in the plot.
Yeah. So I think that's why. But I think her encouraging Chloe to Winky Fingers make nice with Bill wasn't because Bill deserved it, but it was more to protect Chloe.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, in the scenario that you've envisioned, which absolutely makes sense, then I get it, because then at some level, her business, Catherine's business, and Chloe's business depend on some kind of support from Bill. But without us knowing that, then what it's left with is that for whatever reason, Catherine's editor, publisher boss has like a weird fixation on her making peace with her dead husband's lawyer boss. It just doesn't make any sense. But I like your idea that that's what's going on. That absolutely makes sense.
So with Catherine, this show has used a few scenarios as fodder to just push the plot forward. And we needed a reason for Chloe to, I guess, go back to Bill's house.
So I was looking on some of the forums today and some of the things because I wanted to see if anybody had some explanations for some of the plot holes. And one of the things I thought about, a lot of people favorably reviewed the book versus the show. And so I'm going to try to poke around, because I guarantee you in the book, the relationship between Catherine and Bill is explained.
Oh, it was probably way further. I think I might read that book. There's articles you can find that compare where the book and show differ from each other.
Well, that's what I'm going to look into because I just started poking around at that this afternoon. But I want to know because I guarantee there is an explanation for that in the book, and it didn't make it onto the TV show.
Well, send me whatever you can find, and it would be fun to put a post together about the show and how it differs from the book. We don't have to do an episode, but we could at least share with our listeners who have not read the book the differences.
Ghoul now. I just made up a word.
Huh?
I just made up a word. I said ghoul now. I don't even know what I was trying to say.
Now.
Yeah.
That's a Halloween word. That's what we do in the shadows.
I was trying to say that's cool. I'll do that. And it just came out ghoul now. I'm almost 50, y'all. I'll be 50 in 11 days.
50
It's
years
coming
old.
out in strange and mysterious ways.
And if you're wondering, yes, Mandy can punch and
Kick.
she can kick. That's great.
I'm somebody.
So we discover she leaves the pube knife and Bill's drawer, and she does actually give him the files, which was brilliant because she completely disarmed him and made him think he once again had the upper hand. And then Borat shows up, searches his house, and it brought me so much joy to see that man on TV in handcuffs. So tip my hat to Borat for calling the reporters to get him out there.
Yeah, make Gedry mad, but yeah, and yet again, like one of the plot points that just really was not fleshed out was Gedry and Borat kind of going their own way. They went from being a pretty tight unit for 4 or 5 episodes to the last 3, at least. He's Bowen, I think is his real name. He's just been doing his own thing and a much better job than she's been doing.
Here's the thing. Is that I don't think that was a surprise that they split, because from the start of the episode or the series, they made it clear her mind was going down one track and his was going down another. And when they had to start from square one, they're communicating with each other about what they think's going on, but they each still think that their theories are correct. And so they each go down their own path. And then when he gets that paperwork about Bill and knows, okay, I've got this guy. And then she just had this conversation with Adam's mom and learned that Nikki wasn't there. And she's ignoring his phone calls because she's like, I don't need him right now because I've got what I need.
Oh, that's right. He did try to call her.
Yeah. So
okay.
That's
one less
why
plot
there
hole.
was a disconnect.
I didn't remember that he tried to call her. And because that was my whole thing is it's like he just went off and did this thing without even letting her know that he was doing it.
He let her know that he was with he met with this FBI agent and that the FBI has an inside man. And she was like, I like it. I'll, do some digging on that. And she's like, I'm going to follow this. She still thinks it's Nikki. So she's going to follow that lead.
Yeah, I knew all that. I just didn't. I mean, it was him arresting him without calling her, but I forgot that he actually did try to call her and she just didn't pick up.
Yeah. And by that point, and it brings me to my next part of the plan. Brilliant. Poor Gidry, she didn't deserve any of what was handed down to her, but I think it was so super smart that Chloe got her cyber guy to dig into the information that Nikki uncovered when she and Ken followed Gidry, and that turning out to be how they discredited Gidry, because otherwise Gidry had the smoking gun. And if that evidence if that DNA test had gone through, she would be a goner. So smart move, absolutely deplorable, but smart move by Chloe to get Nikki to get that info, and smart of Nikki to take it to Catherine.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very smart.
I just loved how all of that came together. That was my favorite part of that and Ken and Nikki hooking up, but we'll get to that. So that was my favorite part about the plan and how all of that came together, and Chloe proving herself to be not the better sister, but to be a good sister.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that because I think that's where they both got to, was just being better sisters to each other, not being
Yes.
the better sister, just being better to each other.
I did think it was funny when Nikki is talking to Catherine and Catherine says, "You're going to piss off a lot of police with this." And Nikki says, "Well, what else is new?"
Yeah, she hates her cop.
She does. And then when Catherine's like, "What am I supposed to do with this?" She's like, "Maybe you can use that reporter Sid from the wake. He has no issue reporting things from questionable sources."
But you know what? How smart of her to remember that.
Yeah.
There's just so many different plot points. I don't know that I would have remembered that.
All right. Well, if it's all right with you, let's talk about Nikki. Nikki beat that man's ass.
Yeah, that was a rough watch. It's always hard for me to watch violence against women on television, but
I hate it.
it was a good scene.
But one thing I want to tell you that you were so correct about is that the pills that she took, it was wasn't it
It was amoxicillin.
antibiotic? So
Yeah.
you were right. But man, those bruises when she stopped at that gas station to clean herself off.
Yeah, that was rough. I enjoyed watching her shank him in the neck.
I didn't hate
That was
it.
pretty awesome. No, yeah. I do feel like going back, I told you I would go over like some of the ways that I kind of had zoned in on Nikki from the beginning. First of all, I think I must have seen shows like this in the past because it felt like it was pretty predictable the way that it played out. Like the way that they showed in the beginning that she was deeply upset in the car right from jump, the way that like through the first 3, 4, 5, 6 episodes, like there's almost no focus on her, that just seemed very odd. Like I said, there were little moments throughout, like Ethan was in court that day and she came out and she said, "We'll just say I did it." And they were like, "You don't have to do that." And she was like, "But I did." Just like it seemed too obvious that they were showing the pills, but they never really showed us what the pills were supposed to be. And the burner phone issue, the fact that, it took so long for them to get to explaining who the old lady was. It was more about what they weren't saying about Nikki, made me feel like it was her from pretty early on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And going back, I can see where you were. I don't know. I wanted it to be Kevin. So I think I got to a point where I was like, she's probably right, but much like Chloe, I just refused to see what was in front of me because it would have meant that I was wrong.
I don't know if it's time to bring this up, but I also pat myself on the back because not only was it Nikki, but it kind of was Ethan too.
Yes. Yeah, we can move to that, but I do want to come back to Nikki and Ken.
The
So
conversation when they were at the lake,
yeah, so in first Ethan has a girlfriend.
that was very sweet. But I loved that scene because Nikki was trying to cover for Chloe or defend Chloe and say, "I think she always had your best interest at heart." And Ethan said, "What I've been saying this whole
Yep.
time, did she really? Or was it really about her?" And I think the answer is in the middle. I think that it was always deep down, she was susceptible because the human selfish part of her that we all have, but she didn't want to acknowledge. We all want things, sometimes that we shouldn't want. And I don't think she was able to come to terms with that until this episode. So I liked Ethan calling that out.
Yeah.
But I loved their whole thing about he was going to go back with her, and
Yeah.
just how sweet that was for Nikki to have that.
Well, and did you notice the pride on her face when she introduces her to Ken and she said, "This is my son"? It's like the first time she's gotten to do that or something. But it was just so sweet. So sweet. And I do like also that when Ethan is talking about his feelings about learning the extent of what his dad did, that she was like, it's okay to have those feelings. She didn't, don't worry about it. She is so in tune with her mental health. And I love that she's going to be such a presence now in this young man's life who needs someone to help him through all the mental health work he's going to have ahead of him.
Yeah, I think that she is in some ways much stronger than either Ethan or Chloe because she's already had to do this work. When she
Mhm.
lost the thing that was most important to her, which was Ethan 14 years ago, she really put in the work to become a better person and to hold herself accountable. And I think she's got a lot to teach both of them about that. So
Yeah.
that is a thing that if they move into another season, I hope that they continue with, is just Nikki getting to finally make up for some lost time as far as enjoying the life that she should have had if she hadn't been married to a shithead like Adam.
I liked when they're in the car on the way back to the house before everything unfolds, and you were talking about Ethan reveals that he went home that night. And I'm glad that they gave us closure on this to understand why he staged that break-in. So he saw Adam there, and of course, he admitted earlier he thought Chloe did it, so he staged the break-in. But on his way out, he heard Adam wheezing, meaning that he was still alive. And he was like, I could have called an ambulance, but I didn't. And honestly, I don't blame the kid for not doing it. But what I really found intense about that episode was Hank in the back seat saying killers all the same.
Yeah, fuck Hank.
I need Nikki to get Hank out of her head. I need Hank to be gone big time.
That is another one of my quibbles with the show, is that if they're going to bring up something as heavy as child sexual abuse, especially by a parent, that's a very heavy thing, and I don't think that they gave it enough justice and throughout this season. I mean, it was so much innuendo here and there, but if they were going to bring something that heavy into the plot, I feel like they should have expended more time on it. The mother too, like the whole
Yeah.
dynamic with their parents. I wish there had been more about that and their past. I wish we'd had more flashbacks of their past.
Yeah. I would have liked to have had a flashback to see before Adam where Nikki's alcoholism started. I mean, I'm sorry, we saw where her alcoholism started, but when did Chloe figure it out? What caused the rift to make them start separating from each other?
Yes.
I think that would have helped everyone feel differently or better or whatever
Yes.
about their characters. But I'm still not mad at what they did give us with the flashbacks with the sisters, because a lot of it was very dramatic, very intense, and very telling.
Yeah. I mean, they did a lot with the scenes they had. I just wish there had been more of them. I think we would have been more invested in their relationship in general if we'd had more of that.
Yeah.
I think there were too many plot points, quite honestly. I think there was way too much Gentry group.
Yeah. A lot of that Gentry group stuff, I think, could have been successful because I think they brought it home. I really think they brought it home, but they could have spent. But I also am going to give the writers the benefit of the doubt because they needed a way to drive our focus away from Ethan being the guilty one. And so the Gentry group made sense. So I understand
agree.
why it got so much airtime, so to speak, but I do think they could have cut some of that out and given us more sister information.
I think, again, this goes back to what we should have had 10 episodes at least. I don't know, maybe cut it out, but more of it was just like, it was just, there was so much going on that you weren't given enough information to really get invested in some of these storylines, even as red herrings. And that one ended up not being a red herring because apparently those people killed Jake. So there is some crazy thing going on with that group, but they throw out at the very end, 30, like I said, 30 minutes before it's over, that they were into human trafficking, and then nothing about that really. Like, not, apparently they killed Jake, but that's like, it's this huge, big, open-ended thing.
Yeah, which is, again, I was watching with the season 2 coming, so
Yeah, I just don't think they're going to get a season 2.
I don't think so either, but I'm just telling you where my head was at when I was watching it
Gotcha.
for the first time and why none of that stuff really just threw me. Because at first I was like, damn, I want to see Bill go to court. I want to see I wanted to see all these things, but then I'm like, no, seeing Bill carried away in handcuffs was great. And then the end of the story gave us the sisters, but there is one thing about their conversation on the beach that did not make sense to me. And that's when Chloe looks at her and starts talking about the stars or Ursa Major or Minor or whatever it is. She says, that's what we did today. We smoked on the beach and looked at the stars. That's the story. And I do like when she went on to tell Nikki, I don't have a story without you, or at least not one that's worth telling. And then Nikki's like, how should we start?
Oh, I wrote that down.
Oh, but why did she tell her that's what they did today? What did they need an alibi for?
Some people on the internet think that they killed Jake. I don't see that at all.
I don't see it either, but I'm not going to lie. That popped into my head trying to understand why they would need to make this alibi.
When I saw it, I assumed that it was because they've been honest with each other that Chloe, or that she's figured out that Chloe was the one that framed Bill. And that if the cops came at some point, like if, the investigation, they came to talk about arresting Bill or what have you, that they were getting their story straight for that, just their story straight in general. That this has all been wrapped up now and that they're just two sisters that spent the night staring at the stars.
No, that's fair. I don't understand why they needed to make an alibi for that because...
Me either. Was it that day that she framed Bill?
It looked to me like it was all the same day. So I was like,
That's what I thought. So if it was the same day, then that was why she would need an alibi.
But everybody already knew she went to Bill's house.
I don't know, homie. I don't know. I guess just to say, yeah, we didn't talk. Did your sister come home and admit she framed her? No. Her husband's... Nope, we looked at the stars. I don't know, man. I don't know. Again, plot holes. I just don't see a universe. If they killed Jake, why? Wherefore?
I agree with you. I don't know why on earth they would do it, but it's the only thing that made any sense to me as to why they would be making up a story that they smoked on the beach.
Bad writing is my personal opinion about.
Well, I'm not going to argue.
Or just like 15 cut scenes that would have given some context to all of this.
That's true. All right, well, let's move on to something that absolutely warmed my soul was Ken and Nikki together and
breaking all the 12-step rules.
I do not care.
I don't either.
One thing that was funny, my husband, y'all, is a big fisherman. He's actually getting up at 4:00 in the morning to go fishing. And Ken's line about when Nikki says, I didn't know you fished. And he says, I'm a sucker for repetitive action with little reward. If that doesn't describe fishing, I don't know what does.
I went deep sea fishing with my family when we were in Florida year before last, and I loved that. That was so much fun. But these lazy sumbitches out here on Old Hickory Lake, I've never gotten one of those bastards to even nibble on my line because it's like they know that I don't have the patience for it, and they only have to wait me out for about 45 minutes, and then I'm just going to be like, screw this.
See, I can catch fish. What I don't like is catching the fish.
Yeah.
I caught a fish. It was a tiny little fish, and I felt so bad.
Yeah.
That I was like, this isn't for me.
It is cruel.
Now, I will go sit on a kayak on the lake and listen to an audiobook or some music while you throw a rod into the lake over and over again, or reel or whatever. But no, not my thing. And I definitely am not getting up at 4 a.m. to do it.
I know. If Darren, that's what I was thinking when you were talking. I'm telling the story about Darren. Before we got on, she was telling me that Darren had asked her to go with him tomorrow. And if Darren had a good wife, he wouldn't be alone out there with the fish.
No, I think Darren goes at 4 a.m. because he knows I'm not going to get up and go with him. And he's like, alone time.
Why don't you come, Becky?
Yeah.
I want you, babe.
I know what's going on here. Anyway, back to the sexy couple. When they walked into his house, it was almost like a first love, new
It was sweet.
relationship jitters, and
I guess they hadn't been doing it.
no, it's another thing you were wrong about.
Yeah, I was wrong about that. I was leading up to it though.
Oh, definitely. And I'm not, again, I don't hate it. But she says, it smells like you. And he's like, what's that smell like? And she said, suntan in the ocean. I'm not going to lie, I melted a little bit.
Yeah.
And then when she's all nervous and he's like, it's just me, it's just us. And Nikki says, show me the bedroom. I'm like, I wrote here in my notes, sexy time.
You're so sweet. I wrote, yep, they're fucking.
But they just started.
Yeah, obviously.
And I'm going to give it to
yeah.
him. That she has been through some shit. Let that girl get some peen.
I agree. She's not like, she's working the steps, but she's been working them steps for a long time.
Right.
So it's not like she
stepped right on top of that peen.
Yeah, girl, get you some.
That's the 13th step. They don't tell you that.
Becky, you're on fire today. That is hilarious. He's much hotter than Adam. I don't care. Adam, I never saw it. I didn't understand why they cast him in the role. You know what? I just had an epiphany. Oh my God. It's because he looks like my cousin Adam. Dead up on my cousin Adam.
I'm going to need photo evidence of this.
Oh, I'm going to send it to you afterwards and you're going to be like, some bitch. Yeah.
Do you hate cousin Adam? Because you hate Adam.
I don't hate cousin Adam. No.
She doesn't like cousin Adam, y'all.
Adam and I are very different people. Adam is very, very religious. And I, of course, am a Christian, but I mean, he's fundamentalist.
He's a fanatic.
Yeah. He's very fundamentalist. And he's very like reserved, and like he would say I'm a little bit
country
too free, and I would say he's a little prudish about some things. So I actually genuinely love my cousin Adam. We were pretty close when we were kids. We're just very, very different people now.
And he looks like a penis.
Well, he's bald and he looks like a taller version of shithead Adam in the show. I'll send you a picture.
Well, back to the penis. So they're in bed together, and
the uncondomed penis. That's what he looks like.
I liked their conversation about the tattoo, why she has that. She explains about it being her dad had the same one, but with the name of some guy from Vietnam.
Yeah.
And then she says, now there's a space there for whatever disappointment and regret I want to place in there someday.
Yeah. That was kind of funny.
Elizabeth Banks, man. I've always respected her as an actress.
I'm sending you a picture of my cousin Adam. I have too. I think she really enjoyed this role. The only thing that I did not care for about that character is that they did her wrong with those tracks. Did you never get distracted by her hair? Yes.
Yeah, several times, but I didn't care enough. It didn't take away from
it wasn't significant.
The work that her face was doing.
I just felt like they really needed to. They didn't do her, whoever costuming or hair, makeup, or whoever. They really should have either not given her tracks at all or given her better ones.
Yeah,
because her character wasn't the kind of person that's going to go out and get cheap tracks.
Yeah, but I also don't think you're supposed to know that they're tracks.
Right, which is why I said they should have done a better job. Like they should have just sucked it up and got the good tracks or gotten somebody that's more experienced in layering that shit. Because if I notice and I go around looking like a troll-dwelling hobgoblin most of the time, then it's bad. Take a look at that photo I just sent you.
I'm not sure which one is cousin Adam.
He's the one in the very front that looks like Adam.
Yeah, a little bit. I could see if he didn't have the hat on, I think it would. I was looking at the dude in the back because he was bald. I can't tell cousin Adam is bald.
Oh yeah, Adam is very bald. No. I don't know. I was gonna say that may be his brother, my cousin Chris, but who's also very, very bald.
So basically what we've learned is the male side of Mandy's family all look like uncondomed penises.
Apologies to all my cousins and uncles, but Hey, not my Uncle Randy.
No.
Actually, he claims it's ball. I haven't seen him without a ball cap on in a good 15 years. And he says it's because he's got baldness up there now, but no one will ever know. He will never allow the world to witness that. Oh,
Well, do you want to talk about Debbie at all? I thought she was very funny.
she
I
was
like the
funny.
actress. She plays the Penguin's mother in the HBO amazing
Oh.
show, The Penguin.
Yeah, that would have been a good one for us to cover.
I asked you to.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I didn't want to do it back then, but you know me, I've got like this weird thing where I like to get really into stuff well past the point where it's cool anymore. So,
I'm going to need you to start being a little more open-minded. Because have I steered you wrong yet?
no, but the problem I think with the Penguin at the time and like shows like that was I just didn't want to get it just can be stressful. Some of those like I knew there was a lot of really heavy things. Not that there weren't here, but it was more of like a whodunit. And I knew with the Penguin there's a lot of really heavy, violent subject matter. And I think at the time I just
Didn't have the mental bandwidth. I get it. I totally
Yeah.
get it.
did you notice that she had an eating disorder, the mom?
Well, I know she said
Or
she was on
heavily implied.
Atkins, but you wanted heavy cream.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about Atkins. My sister is on it. I don't think that everybody that does Atkins has an ED, but it was heavily implied that she was hyper focused on her weight
Yeah.
as well, which has been kind of a theme throughout this whole show is people having EDs. So
Yeah, I noticed her talking about it. I just thought the cream was more of a way to tell Gidry that, she didn't come back. She didn't bring me my cream. So Gidry knew that she was gone that night.
yeah, that was exactly why. But she was talking about how she's on Atkins, and before in the flashback where she's there with Nikki, and they're talking about what she was getting from the store and stuff. That was just part of her. In the brief interactions we had with her, that was one of the first things that jumped out at me is that she's also somebody who's hyper focused on being thin. Like when she said she was talking about Chloe and how she'd seen her in a magazine, the only positive thing that she had to say about her was that she was thin.
Yeah, that's true. And Adam was very
Yes.
obsessed with her being thin. So I guess it's
And his son being thin.
yeah. Okay. Yes, I see that now. Only other thing about Debbie, I thought it was funny when they're in the 12 hours earlier flashback and she gets the call from Ethan that makes her go kill Adam or confront Adam. She didn't go there with the intentions to kill him, but I would have killed him too if he'd have started treating me and talking to me. Ugh. Ugh. Penis.
He was.
But she says, use my office, which is like the bathroom. And she's like, don't be touching my shit.
Like her literal shit? Because that's the bathroom.
Is
Your
that how
office
she
is the
said
bathroom.
it?
Yeah. She said, don't be touching my shit.
Yeah. I didn't think about that until just now that hopefully she didn't mean her literal shit.
Right. But what other shit in the bathroom is she talking about? It did look kind of hoardery. Maybe she did keep stuff in there.
Well, a lot of times people refer to their stuff as shit.
Yeah.
So she just don't be touching her stuff.
Yeah, I know, but it's the bathroom. So what stuff do you have in there? Like your
But if
shampoo?
you got turds floating in your toilet and you have to tell
Did the house
someone,
look like the kind of house that might have.
that
might have
is
had
true.
it.
She did not look like the
She was not a
cleanest,
housekeeper
neatest,
extraordinaire.
tidiest person. Well, I don't think she could really get up and do much, but yeah. If Nikki was taking care of her, they probably weren't putting a lot of time into Cloroxing the toilet. And that was toilet talk, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so the last thing I have is the end where we get the voiceover of the two sisters saying the prayer. And as they get towards the end, the young girls' voices mingle with theirs. And then you get the shot of across the fire of the little girls and the backs of the adult sisters. I really liked that. Thought that was a very good dramatic close. And then, of course, they had to go and kill it with Jake washed up on the beach. which made me think, oh my God, there's going to be a season 2.
I think they wanted it to be. I just don't think it's going to happen. But I think that's the kind of risk you don't take in a first season unless you know there's going to be a season 2 as well. So that was also part of my gripe with that.
Yeah.
But and I did like the scene with the little girls across from them. But again, I'm going to point out that like I wish that we had had more scenes of that because I think that would have been an even more poignant ending right
Yeah.
there.
I still thought it was beautiful.
It was one of the better scenes in that episode for sure. And I don't hate that. I love the one thing I'm unequivocal about is that the thing that I liked the most is that we finally saw Chloe earn redemption for what
Yeah.
she had done.
That was
Like
so
she
good.
she truly did go to bat for her sister over everything in that moment, which she owed to her sister. And I thought that that was really, really awesome. I do think they stuck that part of it.
Yeah. I was very happy about that. And I loved, again, I said at the beginning, I'll bring it home with, I loved that look on Nikki's face of like the first time in a long time that she looked at her sister, looked at her son, and just felt home. Like,
Yeah,
okay, this is it. And I
yeah, that
think
she
she's
has
been
people.
yearning for that. Yes, for a
I
very
think
long
that's why she
time.
took care of Adam's mom. I think that that was all she had left. Like,
Yeah,
even
it
though
was.
it was the only tie that she had to, like, when she told Ethan, another powerful, I thought, scene, a good scene in this was when she told Ethan, he said, I know you have a life back in Ohio. And she's like, hey, that is not a life.
Yeah.
Like, I have wanted to be here with you every moment. I can imagine how comforting that must feel when you feel like your mother abandoned you for whatever reason when you were young. I think having that kind of closure of her telling you that even though you were separated, she always wanted to be with you.
Yeah.
That was really, really wonderful. And I think it was true. And I think it's what made her get her life together. Even though it wasn't really fleshed out, I think that's why she was taking care of Adam's mom because it was all she could do. To me, that's like the big tragedy of this is that Nikki was by far the more nurturing of the two sisters. And all she wanted to do was take care of the people that she loved. That sumbitch robbed her of that. Like if they had gotten her help instead of abandoning her, her life could have been completely different.
Yeah. Well, I think her father and her husband
Oh, yeah.
completely ruined that for her.
Yeah.
I'm glad that this family is bonded, and I could see through Ethan and Nikki, Chloe recognizing her own needs and weaknesses, and that as a family, they can all work through it together, and
Right.
that none of them are going to be alone
Right.
ever again. I loved that. I also loved the reactions that we got from Gidry sitting at the bar watching watching Bill get arrested and saying, "You're getting it all wrong, idiot."
Yeah. Way to get it wrong, idiot.
And then hashtag justice for Artie.
Where's Artie? No, you know what?
Artie said, "Ooh boy," when Bill got arrested. Do not continue to smack talk Artie.
I'm
You
just
got
going to
no
say, I'm still
evidence.
not taking that back. I know that they never explicitly put that in the plot, but they also, to my mind, never really, they never said who was selling them out to the paparazzi, how the paparazzi knew that they were there.
I thought about it at the end when I wrote Artie in my notes because nobody sold him out to the paparazzi. Because if I've learned anything about paparazzi, when you're in the spotlight, they will find you. They know where that woman lives. They know what her car
That's
looks like.
possible.
They know when she rounds the corner.
I don't remember what the exact dialogue was, but there was an actual conversation, something to the effect of how did they know when we would be here? And I'm not saying that he did it, but I also am not saying that I will take my licks on my crystal ball isn't obviously completely clear because I did think that they were having a relationship, Nikki and Adam, leading up to when he died, and there were a couple of other things I can't that I, but that one I'm not willing to concede that because I still think that there was some shifty shit about Artie's character that was never fully fleshed out or explained.
Well,
Hopefully we'll get
Artie,
that season 2 and Artie
if you're
can be redeemed.
listening, Artie, I know you're good. All right. So that is all I have. Do you have anything else?
Artie,
You're getting ready to say something big. What is it?
Oh, just Artie, I know you're good. Artie, you're a good guy. I see you, Artie.
You're not real, but
You're the better doorman.
That was perfect. This is why people listen to us.
Because we crazy.
Because we crazy. We're the good crazy. All right. Anything else that we missed that you want to go through in your notes?
No, I'm looking to see if there's anything that I didn't bitch about that I wanted to, because I always hate to miss a chance to bitch. I do have written down in my notes here when Nikki offed Adam, I just wrote, yeah, kill his bitch ass.
I might have said something similar to that out loud.
That's funny. I think I did say it out loud the first time I watched it. Yeah, no, I think I've covered everything I want to say.
Excellent. All right. Well, miscalculations. I think I've admitted my miscalculations throughout our coverage of our last 3 episodes. Mandy was 90% right, and I was 10% wrong. No. Okay. Mandy was, this is why I don't do math, people. Mandy was 90% right, and I was 90% wrong. Is that
I don't
right?
know about 90%. Yeah, no, I don't think you were 90% wrong.
But what I am certain that I'm 100% right about is that Artie is good.
Girl, at the very least, Artie's a cheating scum.
Nope. Whoa, I
You tell
forgot
that to
about
Janice.
that. Dadgummit.
Yeah.
What I am
Janet would beg to differ.
6% certain is that Artie did not. Okay, Artie didn't. Okay, all right. Artie, I'm 100% certain Artie did not sell out Chloe, Nikki, and Ethan to the paparazzi.
And Artie, I got my eyes on you. We're gonna let you rest. Go sell that sofa. I'll see you on.
That was a
I'll see you
beautiful
on
sofa.
Facebook Marketplace. That was a nice sofa.
Oh my God, we should start an Artie Facebook Marketplace. We just have to find stuff to sell.
Well, Ethan apparently had a series of different chainmail outfits. So
that was funny, Steve.
Because he's not wrong.
Did they just keep buying him one as he got bigger?
I mean, does he have a chainmail guy? Like, I know that these people are rich, but that's crazy. Oh, you got chainmail money? You're rich.
Oh my God. I love that. All right. So, show notes and news. I did do some show notes, or did look up some notes about the show to try to see if there was anything on a season 2. And the only thing I could find that was from the Economic Times, that there's no official renewal yet for the Better Sister season 2, despite the buzz. Amazon Prime Video has not announced a renewal. The psychological thriller, adapted from the standalone novel bestseller author Alifar Burke, was originally billed as a limited series, indicating that it was conceived as a one-series narrative, as mentioned in a report by Decider. And given that the source material does not have a sequel, and considering Prime Video's tendency to cap some of its most dramatic titles, which is so true, at a single installment, the likelihood of a continuation appears slim at this stage. So it does not look like we're going to get a second season of The Better Sister. So fan fiction.
Yeah, that's how we're going to find out what happened to Jake, because that was why I thought it was so strange that they added that in, because one of the many things that I learned in looking through the Reddits and the articles say is that was not in the book. They just threw that in there. Like they were
Jake
hoping
died?
for. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they wrote that ending with the hopes that they would get renewed for a second season, so they would have material. And if they do get a second season, they got some good stuff to work with.
They do, but that just, to me, seemed over. And here's where I'm going to draw a parallel. The Pit. I can't imagine there's anybody that out there that didn't follow us from The Pit. But if you didn't watch The Pit, medical drama on HBO Max starting Noah Wiley, go back and do it. The Pit played out their entire first season with enough drama and character development and just great writing that they are absolutely going to get a season 2 and probably many seasons beyond that because it's a great show. But they also had no guarantee of that going into this. So they did not leave you in your very first season hanging on this giant cliffhanger. There were intriguing little lures out there of things that could be developed in another season, but they wrapped it up because they only had a guarantee for one season. So I just think if somebody did that, that's a real ballsy, like with the way that streamers are these days, where they are just so quick to cut people off, that just seemed like a real ballsy choice to make for me.
Yeah. It's also got people talking, so.
Yeah, it does. That's just odd. But hey, you know what? I am by no means an expert on modern TV viewing, so we might be surprised.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on into feedback. You want to start us off?
Yep. Via our feedback post on Pirate Core's Facebook page, Josette Parker Covington wrote, what a great name.
I love that.
Josette Parker Covington. She sounds like she could work for Chloe's magazine. She wrote, I just found your podcast. I'm late to The Better Sister, but I'm loving it so far. From your episode 1 review, I have 3 sisters, and yep, that relationship is complicated. Yes, ma'am. We both have sisters as well, and it is complex.
Welcome, Josette. We're so glad you found us. And when you get to this finale, let us know. Y'all can write in anytime on any show that we're covering with feedback, even if it's 6 months later. We will still, we still want to hear from y'all, and we'll still gladly share it on our podcast. So welcome. We're glad that you found us, and please tell your
friends.
You felt
about the end. Yeah, I want to know. Yeah, please let us know. I'm curious for any of you guys to tell us, like, how did you feel about
I was a little bummed we didn't get more people who watched it to talk about the end, but I also realized that I think only a few people may have finished it, so maybe we'll still get some more feedback later. But yeah,
or maybe some people were waiting until we finish
release.
Okay, via YouTube, Linda Morrison. Hey, Linda, wrote on our episode 6 and 7 coverage. I can't wait till you do the last episode. Well,
here we are.
Here we are, Linda. We need more from you. I want to know what you thought about that. Like, how did you feel about the end of that, and how they handled the finale?
So we got a 2-part voicemail from our boo, Steve Brown, on the finale. I am dying to hear his thoughts. So I'm going to play part 1 first. And here we go.
Hello, Becky and Mandy. This is Steve, and this is going to be for The Better Sisters, Season 1, Episode 8. I had to actually pause it after the murder, or I guess the apparent murder, because I had ran really, really long in this just brief few seconds. But gosh, Nikki stabbing Adam, was that a true account of what happened? Yeah. I don't know. And now we're 12 hours earlier from when Adam, I guess we're supposed to assume that Nikki did kill him. You ever know who Debbie is? The closed captioning is this woman in the wheelchair is Debbie. So do we ever know who she is? Okay, so that was her phone that was all smashed on the table. She left that at the house. Okay, so she's telling all this to Chloe at this time. So we don't know if this account is actually true or not, because Nikki is an unreliable narrator. Oh, okay, the detective just said it. Debbie is Adam's mother. Oh, okay, so now I get it. They never did pull Nikki's phone records or check her alibi because they just assumed Ethan was the killer. That's right. This has been the theme all along, hasn't it been? Now they're finally looking at a different suspect.
Well, they did check her phone, but she was there.
He'll know what he needs to know. Okay, so Jake is now coming clean to Chloe. He did get fired by Bill, I guess? Okay, so Nikki and Ethan are out for a walk, and Ethan is talking about a Helen person in his life? Okay, I'm still suspicious of this guy, Ken, that he's more than what he seems to be.
Stop it, Steve.
Is he her sponsor, technically, or are they just friends? I don't know. But there's more to this guy, I think. Oh,
you leave Ken alone,
looking for the hard copies, and there's a false bottom in the safe, and there's some paperwork. Ooh, Elizabeth Banks, Nikki looking to get some with Ken.
Yeah.
So Nikki put the idea into Ethan's head about taking the car, and he did. Oh, now we hear Chloe is coming to meet Bill, and we finally meet Bill's husband. Oh, she's giving the files to Bill, not to the FBI. Who has Bill been talking to on the phone? Is he talking to the feds or is he talking to the Gentry Group?
Gentry.
I know we're meant to assume it's the Gentry Group, but they haven't told us that yet.
I
Unfortunately,
agree. It could have been the
That's a
Fed
good
working with
point.
Gentry.
I'm not sure what time you're going to be recording for this, so I'm going to send this on. There's still about a half hour left in the show, so I'll try to record another one when I come back home from work if you haven't recorded yet. Okay, bye.
And he did send us another one.
Steve, I just think the world, you just are such a good, I love your voice.
All right, here is the other half of Steve's feedback on episode 8.
Hello, what's on tonight? This is Steve, and this is going to be voicemail number 2 for Better Sister Season 1, Episode 8. Try not to go super long, but okay, here we are. Nikki is meeting with Chloe's private investigator. Oh, so what Detective Guidry did was hidden by the police. That's right, they're going to go looking for her, and she's in Ohio. Oh, so Guidry's getting all the information she needs to possibly pin this murder on Nikki. She left her phone there, and she came back, or left and came back. Is it that Nikki was the one that informed Debbie, Adam's mom? What, did Chloe not know about Adam's mom? Debbie figured out what you're trying to do, detective, and she's not going to give you a signed statement. So there's a trial, they can still subpoena her. Okay, so Nikki took the information about Guidry to, Elizabeth, Chloe's fixer, or the woman that she works with. We'll see how she uses that. And now they're about to serve a warrant on Bill's residence and home office. Oh, are they going to find the Gentry files? Oh, so she did leak the story about Guidry's violent behavior. How she's not going to be able to arrest Nikki, maybe not. Oh, Adam was still alive when Ethan was in the house? Oh, the police have arrested Bill Braddock for something. Press is speculating that he killed Adam. Oh, Chloe did it. She set up Bill for the murder by sending the knife to the detective. Wow. Oh, and that's the end with Jake's body up on the beach. Ooh, maybe there is going to be a season 2. All right, can't wait to hear you guys talk about this one.
Well,
There you go, Steve. We done talked her to death. We talked her deader than Adam's hairline.
oh my God, you warm my soul. I love you. Thank
I
you,
love
Steve. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Josette. Thank you, everyone who has been on this ride with us for this season of The Better Sister. And we appreciate you guys
so much.
And so poll results, as mentioned earlier, I forgot to post the poll again. So if you want to just chime in the comments of this podcast and let us know who you think is the better sister or who is the better podcaster for this series.
Oh, it couldn't be one or the other. We need each other for both.
I know.
It would be terrible without us riding as a team.
That is true. We do make each other better or worse, depends.
Same with these two. But honestly, I think that the one thing again that I want to reiterate that I did like about this is that at the end, I think it was made abundantly clear that they are both better sisters together. Like that, I think is the moral we're supposed to get to, is that no one is all good. Most people are not all bad.
Like Artie?
Well, I didn't say Artie was all bad. I was saying he definitely ain't all good. But yeah, I have come away thinking that I would have said up until this last episode that Nikki was clearly the better sister, but now I think that they are both good sisters to each other.
Yeah, I agree. And before we wrap up, we got some really sweet feedback about our interview with Jeanette O'Connor, aka Myrna, that we wanted to share. Mandy, you want to start?
Yes, Jeanette herself, our new friend, says, "Thank you, Becky and Mandy, for having me," with a little, is that like a little
smiley face with hearts on it?
She says, "Love you both, and thanks everyone for listening." We love you too, Jeanette. It's been really nice. That's just such a dream come true to see a character you just really, really fall in love with on TV, to actually get to know the person who brought that to life and to spend some time talking to them. But man, that's bucket list stuff for us. So
it was so great. And
yeah,
she still
it really
is
was
still keeping in touch. So
Yeah.
I would be mad at Noah Wiley. But even if she doesn't make it back for season 2, could you imagine her coming on and covering an episode with us?
Oh, no, that'd be great. I would
That would-
have her on. Jeanette, I don't know if you're listening, but if you are always welcome anytime.
Anytime.
She is as cool as Myrna was. Jeanette's way cooler in real life.
So Linda wrote, "This was awesome. I was about ready to go to bed. Then I got a YouTube notification. There was no way I was going to wait till tomorrow. I enjoyed this so much," with a heart emoji. Linda, you're so amazing.
You just make our day. I can't tell you how much we appreciate you.
I know how important sleep time is, and the fact that you stayed up and listened to us in that interview.
It means the world. Yeah.
Love you. Thank you. All right. If you would like to get in touch with us, leave some feedback, or just say hi, you can email or send us a voice message like Steve as an attachment to what's on tonight and the number 2 at gmail.com. You can visit our Facebook page where there will be a post for the next episode, and you can leave feedback in the comment section or send us a message through Facebook Messenger. We can also be found on Instagram at What's On Tonight Podcast and the number 2. We would greatly appreciate it if you leave a review, comment, like, and or share on your podcast listening app of choice. So how about some dinner in the Hamptons with the sisters and talk about where else listeners can find us, podcast recommendations, good TV or movies, or anything else that you want to share? What you got, Mandy?
But don't know if anybody out there is following my Dinner for Her podcast. I hope you are. And if you are, I want to apologize. I've gotten a little bit off schedule. I've run into just some snafus with different people's life schedules. And then, frankly, I just have been kind of taking a couple of weeks. I've lost a couple of people, and it's been a bit of a month. So I am back at it, and I should have something up by the next time you guys hear me on here. I'm pretty excited because I know who the next couple of episodes are going to be about. I just don't know when I'm going to be able to get them recorded because, again, I got to work around other people's realities. But I want to, and this isn't about podcasting, but I realized this week, I went to Pride in Nashville here this past week. It was amazing, as always. It was even cooler this year than in past years because I think one of the things that organizers are trying to remind people as we see the erosion in real time of rights by a lot of different marginalized communities, but particularly the LGBTQIA and immigrants. And one of the things that organizers are trying to remind people of is that if you're not a bigot, for the most part, you've come to enjoy Pride as a celebration and as a joyful, happy thing. It's a festival, it's a concert, it's people selling crafts, but predominantly Pride began as a protest. And it came from organization because these communities were victimized by the larger population, and different organizations had to come together to gain the rights that they did accomplish because it didn't come without a fight. This year, one of the things that was cool about Pride is that you had far fewer merchants. What they had different this year is that there were a ton more organizations, human rights campaigns, trans awareness organizations, several different LGBTQIA affirming churches.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was great. There was a lot more of that this year, which I think was really important because what's going to get us through this and what's going to keep us moving forward in this country and not letting these people drag us backwards. No one gave us our rights. And when I say us, I mean any marginalized community. We have never had our rights given to us. It's been a fight every single time. Periodically, these regimes pop up and want to drag us backwards, but together we're stronger. And I say all that to say that one of the organizations that had a booth there was Launchpad Nashville, which I have talked about in the past. I volunteer with them. I just started volunteering with them at the end of their last season. They provide street-free housing for youth between the ages of 18 and 26 who are experiencing homelessness, housing insecurity. but they are the only LGBTQIA affirming organization in the Nashville area. And the difference between accepting and affirming, there are a lot of charities that would allow someone, or most of them hopefully are not going to ask what your sexual orientation is before they help you to find somewhere to sleep for the night. But many of them are deeply religious, and they're going to make you feel that you have to dim your light or hide that part of yourself, or maybe kick you out if they find out. And that's a real shame, because the population that is most likely to experience housing insecurity at that age are LGBTQIA children and young adults. They are the ones that are statistically far more likely to have been kicked out of their home because they are not being accepted for who they are. So what's great about this organization is that this is a place that these kids can come and be safe being themselves. So it's a wonderful organization. I haven't talked about them in a while, to my shame. They have other programs that they do throughout the year. If you're listening, please go check out the organization. If you can't donate money, because I know times are hard, they make it so easy to volunteer your time and effort. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can contribute to them. There's just a lot of options out there. So I just want to take this time again to remind people about Launchpad Nashville and ask that you go and give them a look and see if there's anything that you can do to help them out. It's a great organization, and I find it very, very fulfilling. This isn't the reason you should do things, volunteer works, but I'm going to confess that it also helps me as much as I think it helps these kids, because it makes you feel like, in a world that you can often feel very powerless in, it reminds you that there are very simple things that you can do that will make a real difference. Off my soapbox now.
We will post a link to Launchpad in our show notes for the podcast. And I do agree with Mandy. We're at a point where we've got to do more. And I've been warring with myself a lot about what can I do to make a difference in the things that are, especially in what it's about to happen, given the bill that just passed and is going to go into effect. Be it your time, be it your money, be it your voice, whatever you've got. I am pushing myself to get more involved and do more, say more. And I appreciate you, Mandy, for always using your platforms to bring to light things like Launchpad and things that you've been participating in. It's very motivating. And I think we all just need to use our voices.
Do what you can.
Yeah, just do what you can when you can, however you're comfortable.
I want to point out just an example of what Becky was talking about, just doing what you can. And most of my life, I've thought it was kind of tacky to wear slogans and whatnot on your shirts. But since all of this gestures broadly around me has started happening, I've pretty much made myself a billboard. Every time I leave this house in a casual setting, I have some kind of message on. And the reason for that is not necessarily to change anyone's mind. It's representation. It's for people that maybe are afraid to know that they are not alone, especially in my very rural county here in Tennessee, Taliban. But I was at Kroger yesterday, and I was wearing a pride shirt, and I'm checking out. My son works at this Kroger. And so these two boys, they're checking me out, and I had this pride shirt on, and one of them said, like, is it awkward when little kids ask you about that shirt? And I said, no. I said, little kids don't really pay attention to stuff like that. But I do wear it to open conversation. And both of these boys just went on to express some form of appreciation for that, and that they were in total agreement that, what's going on is not okay, and that it's frightening and all of that. And I just reminded them, hey, you know what? You could just do something as simple as wearing a t-shirt, and you're doing something right now, speaking up, especially with young men like that. That can often be because, God forbid, someone call you gay as a young man. And I thought that right there was what you're talking about. Like that conversation was doing something, putting ideas out there, just being a visible representation. If you don't have a dime to your name, if you don't have an hour to spare, God knows, I know that a lot of us are in that very scenario. Just speak up when you see things going on that are not okay. speak up, wear a pride t-shirt to the grocery store. Just something that simple is how we make incremental change.
Yep, I agree. I feel kind of silly even talking about regular podcasts now, but
Hey, it's what we're here for.
yeah. Run for Your Lives just released their coverage of the hit movie Sinners. I haven't listened yet because I haven't watched the movie, but it is in my queue. It's one of the binges I'm going to be doing during my R&R tomorrow. But I am
It's so
super
good.
excited to hear Paige and Daphne's thoughts on the movie. And Penny, Kara, and Sam are continuing their rewatch of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel. And I had a blast last weekend covering Hero and Parting Gifts of
Oh, I bet you love
Angel
that.
with them. It was so much fun. And so please check out Still Slaying if you're, and there are a lot of other great podcasts on podcastica.com. So a big thank you to Mark and Pirate Core Entertainment for giving us this platform. Please visit the Pirate Core website. You can find it on our Facebook page. And there you can find our podcast as well as other podcasts like Panels to Pixels, Adrenaline Cinema, and Dinner for Her with our very own Mandy. And you can find other projects that Mark is working on.
Well, that wraps up our coverage of The Better Sister. Here we are at the end, closing time.
You don't have to go home, but you
You
can't
can go
stay.
and boink with Ken.
Sexy time. So we're going to be back in a week and a half to start covering Dexter Resurrection. Y'all, I did my best, and I could not talk Mandy into covering this one with me.
Oh, but you're going to have fun with Mark and Steve. That's going to be good.
But Mark and from Pirate Core, our leader, and Steve, who you heard, Penny from the Buffy verse, and Remo, we're going to have a lot of great guest hosts for the season. So there'll be some new voices and some familiar voices, but do not fret. Our dear Mandy will be back with us once Dexter is over and Welcome to Derry comes out.
I am so excited.
I am so scared. Y'all, I hate clowns. I hate clowns. I hate horror. I don't hate it. I'm just afraid. And I let Mandy talk me into
Becky
covering
might watch
this.
the first episode and we're going to switch over to like Boss Baby 3.
Or what you may
like
hear is Mandy and I on episode 1, and then I just mysteriously disappear, and Mandy has guest hosts for the remainder of the season, and then we come back to cover the pit.
We could do that. We could do that if it gets to be too much, man.
I'll let you know.
I, of all people, completely understand that sometimes but having not seen any episodes, I'm really excited. Becky and I have some fun plans for that show. Oh, spoiler alert. You guys can't see it. I'm not going to say. Becky's giving a visual clue to some of our plans right now. I can't wait. I hope it's a great show because I'm really excited about some of the stuff we've got on deck.
I'm excited and nervous, but it'll be fun. But I'm super stoked about Dexter. I love me some Dexter, so I cannot wait to see how his resurrection goes. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. Y'all, as we discussed earlier, discouraging things are happening all around us. Please do not give up the fight.
You're not alone, and this tide has turned in the past, and what it hinges on is good people standing up and being visible and just saying that they're not going to have it anymore. They're not going to keep their head in the sand. Go out and find community. That's where your strength lies. Go out and find other people like you. I guarantee you, I don't care how rural you are, they are right around the corner.
Somebody's there.
Yep.
And if you can't find someone, you know how to find us.
Yep.
Follow this like discouraging, I forget what it's called, but it's like
sarcastic.
So
Yeah.
The one today was, this too shall pass, but what the fuck?
That is a very, very valid way to
I was
look
like,
at
that
things right now.
explains today
Keep-
better than anything I ever could.
Stay hopeful, but stay disgusted and stay angry.
Yes. Well, I am Chloe.
And I am Nikki.
We'll catch you next week when we grab the remote and see what's on tonight. Bye. How are you going to get home?
I'm going home with you.
Yeah, baby.